Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated and silence all electronic devices. The ceremony will begin momentarily. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am your narrator, Master Sergeant Christopher Rao. On behalf of the Commander, 5th Mission Support Group, Colonel Richard Goodman, welcome to Minot Air Force Base and the 5th Security Forces Squadron Change of Command Ceremony. We are pleased you are with us today to share this important ceremony as we bid farewell to Lt Col Brian Fitzpatrick and welcome a new leader, Lt Col John Hart. Our ceremony today is a celebration of both continuity and change. Continuity in the form of a military tradition whose roots reach back through time to the legions of ancient Rome, to the passing of signets that once symbolized the transfer of command from one to another. Change, as this great command says farewell to an honored leader and welcomes his successor through a ceremony that differs only in style, not in substance, from those of the Romans. Once the members of the official parties have taken their places, please remain standing for the presentation of the national colors by Minot Air Force Base Honor Guard, the playing of our national anthem, and the invocation by Chaplain Robert Compier. During the national anthem, military guests in uniform must stand in position of attention, while civilians should stand with their hand over their heart. We are honored to have many special guests with us today. Special guests of Lt Col Fitzpatrick, who are joining us virtually, his spouse, Major Christina Fitzpatrick, United States Air Force retired, their children, Riley and Madeline, special guests of Lt Col Hart include his spouse, Mrs. Kyra Hart, and their daughter, Sophie. Distinguished guests in attendance include Commander, 5th Bomb Wing, Colonel Brad Cochran, Vice Commander, 5th Bomb Wing, Colonel Brian Vaughn, Command Chief, 5th Bomb Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Aaron McElroy. We would like to also welcome all commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, friends, and members of the 5th Security Forces Squadron who are joining us virtually. At this time, we ask that you please stand for the arrival of the official party.
Center. Present the colors. Col. Hart. Col. Hart. Col. Hart. Colors. Halt. Present. Arms.
Chaplain Campier, please come forward to offer the invocation.
I invite you to bow your heads as I pray. Heavenly Father, we gather to take part in this historic Air Force tradition, the passing of leadership from one person to another. In this case, from Lt Col Brian Fitzpatrick to Lt Col Jamie Hart. We thank you for the outstanding leadership of Colonel Fitzpatrick. Bless him and his wife Christina and their kids Riley and Maddie as they depart for Scott Air Force Base. I pray that Colonel Fitzpatrick will maintain his commitment to his people and his passion for the mission. You teach in your word that courage, integrity, vision, and servanthood are crucial for leading well. I pray that Lt Col Hart will embody these traits and maintain the respect his unit eagerly gives him today. Bless the transition of his wife Kira and their daughter Sophie. I pray they will serve as models to the Security Forces Squadron and the larger Air Force family. I pray these things in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Honor Guard, Chaplain Campier. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the Commander, 5th Mission Support Group, Colonel Richard Goodman.
Morning. Welcome to the 5th Security Forces Change of Command. We're honored you have joined us today. I want to take a moment to recognize our DVs in attendance, Colonel Cochran, Colonel Vaughn, Chief McElroy, our brothers from the 91st, Colonel Gallagher, Sully, Warrior Chief, Chris, thanks for coming. We really, really appreciate it. My beautiful wife, live from Alaska, thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedules to attend today. I'd also like to extend a warm and special welcome to the family and friends of Lt Col Fitzpatrick and Lt Col Hart. So why do we do change of command ceremonies? Change of command is an important outward recognition of the passing of responsibility from one officer to another in front of their troops so that all can see the new commander. The passing of the colors from an outgoing commander to an incoming commander ensures that the unit, its airmen, are never without official leadership, the continuity of trust, and it signifies an allegiance of airmen to their unit and their commander. This outward recognition of the passing of command is centuries old, as we heard in the introduction, when many troops only received orders verbally and only from officers they knew. We've come a long way from those times, but the personal recognition of the commander on the battlefield is still important to this day. However, I would assert that 6 months ago, none of us would have predicted that we would be conducting this ceremony virtually to mitigate the effects of a global pandemic. We're in a very different world now than when Lt Col Fitzpatrick took command. Despite all of these changes and challenges, the mission of the 5th Security Forces Squadron went on every day, 24/7, 365. As you are aware, at Team Minot, we operate, sustain, and secure the nation's most powerful weapon systems. We also organize, train, and equip another lethal weapon system, and that's our Warrior Airmen. As the Security Forces Commander, you have played and will continue to play a vital role in enabling every weapon system, mission, and airman at Minot Air Force Base. To Lt Col Fitzpatrick, your squadron has made great strides in executing the mission of Team Minot. The proud and confident defenders you developed have ensured nuclear strike for America every minute of every day. So I asked you what you wanted me to talk about today, and the response was classic Fitz, and exactly what I expected. Surprised me? You said, and I quote, "The most important thing I'd like to emphasize is that the 5th Security Forces Squadron got back to basics in our core mission of nuclear security and nuclear force generation procedures." Cool? That's right. Right? It wasn't about we won an award or we did armory. It was about back to basics. The one thing I will always remember about Fitz, as the commander of the largest security forces squadron in the Air Force, is every time I was out and about with him, he knew every airman, he knew their family, he knew their hobbies, He knew their hometowns. Each of those airmen stood tall and proud, not because the commander was standing in front of them, but because the commander knew them, knew their family, knew their post they were on, and cared about them. And he demanded nothing short of excellence. And his airmen delivered every time. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. So it says go off script here. So this can be dangerous, right? It's just like the president when he's not reading the teleprompters. All right? There's two things I want to talk about. Culture. Fitz was doing culture before culture was cool, right? And it's not just because we say culture or we say the word warrior. When the Bravo Flight Bulldogs take post, they put their Bulldog out at CSC and at the LE desk. When the Alpha Spartans take post, they put their Spartan on everything they own. That is culture down to the flight level. That's the right answer. That's what right looks like. All right, the only other thing I want to talk about in the off script is Brian Fitzpatrick is one of the most humble servant leaders I've ever met. It's not about Fitz, it's about the airmen. Okay. Additionally, Mary Beth and I would like to thank Christina for all of her hard work to guide, mentor, and provide for the families of our defenders. Her efforts, often unseen, cemented the foundation of the rock-solid families of the Security Forces Squadron. Fitz, job well done. We wish you blue skies and sunflower fields as you move to AMC headquarters. I got him to smile. Best of luck to you and your family. Lt Col Hart, Jamie, we welcome you and your family, Kira, Sophie, Yeager, Petunia. Okay, all right, to the MSG Warrior family. We're about to entrust you with an awesome responsibility. We're about to hand you the virtual flag of the largest security forces squadron in the Air Force. Think about that, okay? More importantly, we're about to hand you the lives of 587 Defender Warrior Airmen. Be the commander you've always wanted to be. Your airmen will execute your orders because you're the commander, but they'll follow you because you're a leader. I have confidence in your ability to lead the 5th Security Forces Squadron. I charge you every day, in every action, with 100% mission execution, to build warrior-ready airmen, and to support Team Minot's rock-solid families. Thank you all for attending. May God bless Team Minot and the United States of America. Cool.
Thank you, Colonel Goodman. At this time, Lieutenant Colonel Fitzpatrick will receive the Meritorious Service Medal. Due to current social distancing procedures, his medal is on display on the table. Please stand for the presentation of the award. Attention to orders. Citation to accompany the award of Meritorious Service Medal, 5th Oak Leaf Cluster, to Lieutenant Colonel Brian M. Fitzpatrick for meritorious service from 1 June 2018 to 17 June 2020. Lieutenant Colonel Brian M. Fitzpatrick distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Commander, 5th Security Forces Squadron, 5th Mission Support Group, 5th Bomb Wing, Minot Air Force Base, North Dakota. During this period, Colonel Fitzpatrick led 587 personnel in the largest security forces squadron in the United States Air Force, securing $6.6 billion in protection-level assets and 12,500 personnel. He supported 3 deployments in support of both European and Pacific Command for the Bomber Assurance and Deterrence Mission, supporting the United States allies in the regions. Additionally, he reinforced the nuclear security operation by revamping aircraft generation procedures, saving 420 man-hours and posturing aircraft readiness 7 hours ahead of United States Strategic Command timelines. Furthermore, by revitalizing nuclear operation, he led the squadron to earn one of the highest ratings in the 2019 Higher Headquarters Nuclear Surety Inspection that was lauded by the Inspector General as the best in the Air Force Global Strike Command history. Finally, Colonel Fitzpatrick restructured the integrated defense plan by realigning over 370 posts and restructuring base patrol sectors, enabling a more effective defensive posture. This reconstructing allowed the squadron to implement the Reconstitute Defender duty schedule in line with Headquarters Air Force Base initiative, the first large nuclear security forces squadron to do so. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Lieutenant Colonel Fitzpatrick reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Colonel Fitzpatrick.
Okay, the quicker I go, the less chance I have to get emotional. So, good morning, Colonel Cochran, Colonel Vaughn, Chief Mack, Colonel Gallagher, Chief Sully, Chief Greek, defenders from the 5th Security Forces Squadron, and everybody on Zoom land. I'll be honest, I have dreaded this day for some time. Oops. Jeez. Commanding is a passion of mine, and it's very hard to leave this place. Okay, I got that out of the way. First of all, I'd like to thank my family, Christina, Riley, and Maddie. They sacrificed a lot while I was here. My parents, Gary and Suzanne. Man, all right. They know how I feel about them. So thank you, Colonel Goodman, for your leadership and all of you've done for the Paladins of the 5th Security Forces Squadron. I truly appreciate it, and words can't express my gratitude for having the privilege to serve under you. And fellow MSG commanders, we were a great team, had a good run, and forged friendships of a lifetime. Colonel Gallagher, thanks for your mentorship and friendship. You'll be missed. And I didn't forget that you're still two years behind on your rent. And the girls are going to miss their Uncle Chad. And a shout out to everybody in the squadron, Chief Marquardt, Senior Master Sergeant Brown, Chenier Sharp, the folks from S1, LT, and Sergeant B, Dirty Robin, the boys in S2, everybody in S3, the Spartans, the Bulldogs, the Jokers, the Misfits, the Demons, and the Guerrillas. Job well done. Sully and Mike, thanks for everything, your friendship and mentorship. Special thanks to Sergeant Rao and Lieutenant Lucen and the men and women of the Security Forces Squadron, the 5th Bomb Wing protocol staff, who put this great and different ceremony together. Jamie, Kira, Sophie, welcome to the squadron. You'll enjoy your time here. Enjoy the people, the family, and the late night notifications. I'm confident that you'll do amazing things with the amazing personnel of the squadron. It is an assignment of the lifetime and one that you'll never forget. To the Paladin Defenders, there are 2 words that capture my feelings today: honored and grateful. I am honored to have the opportunity to command and serve in the 5th along the side of the finest airmen and create the identity as the Paladins. We built and trained a knowledgeable and confident squadron, and you all have a demanding job and a demanding environment doing a very important mission. Your efforts go unnoticed by many, but I am eternally grateful for what you do. Excuse me, day in and day out. The med group failed on their procedures on my emotional removal. Sorry. Our mission is complex and must be conducted without failure. We secured our nation's most critical and most destructive assets, provided a safe and secure operating environment in order to generate combat air power with global reach, and provide that same environment to the base populace. I will miss this place and the people, and I'm grateful all of you are part of my life and had a significant impact on my life. I'll remember my time here and reflect on it fondly as my best assignment. Okay. You have trained over 300 new defenders and conducted thousands of duty certifications. You responded to multiple domestics, DUIs, drugs, deaths, and you delivered children in the back of cars. You secured alarms The WSA stood on the stone during nuclear force generations, safeguarded a SAM at negative 50 degrees. Jeez. Med group really screwed this one up. Military working dogs supported POTUS, SECDAF, CSAF, and others. You stood up the Air Force Justice Information System, digital criminal indexing, processed thousands of reports, conducted PMIs on building alarms and AA&E facilities, and maintained thousands of restricted area badges. Conducted over 175 base investigations, authored and implemented guidance and procedures, processed hundreds of EPRs and decorations, re-enlistments, and SDAP. Have fun with the SDAP forms. You issued thousands of weapons, taught thousands of personnel marksmanship, and over 40 of you grew your family with a child. Many of you were promoted. You put in the work to receive one of the highest ratings in the NSI that was deemed the best in global strike history. You trained each other, you had each other's back, and gave it 100% effort 100% of the time. You took care of each other in the good times and bads. When I took command in June of 2018, I used this modified quote from General Patton, replacing the word soldier for defender. I am a defender, I fight where I'm told, and I win where I fight. We defended, we fought, and we won. All right. Last one. All SOPs and guidance remain in effect. Paladin 6 is off the net. Thanks for your support.
At this time, Captain David Green, Operations Officer of the 5th Security Forces Squadron, would like to bid farewell to Lieutenant Colonel Fitzpatrick by rendering him one last salute. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the official change of command.
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. Department of the Air Force, Headquarters, 5th Mission Support Group, Minot Air Force Base, North Dakota, Special Order GS 12-17-21, dated 17 June 2020. By order of the Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Brian M. Fitzpatrick will relinquish command to Lieutenant Colonel John J. Hart, 5th Security Forces Squadron, Minot Air Force Base, North Dakota, effective 17 June 2020. Signed, Colonel Richard E. Goodman.
Officers, vote.
Sir, I relinquish command.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, Lieutenant Colonel Fitzpatrick will clear his weapon to signify the end of his tour of duty as Commander, 5th Security Forces Squadron.
Sir, that's in command.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, Lieutenant Colonel Hart will load his weapon to signify the beginning of his tour of duty as Commander, 5th Security Forces Squadron.
Officer Center.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commander, 5th Security Forces Squadron, Lt Col John Hart.
Nothing like some crumpled up note cards to. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Colonel Cochran, thank you for this opportunity to lead. This is truly a great experience. Colonel Vaughn, I look forward to your mentorship. Chief McElroy, thank you so much for coming. Colonel Goodman, the reception to Minot from your command team was second to none and was much appreciated. It really, that was the Minot aura that people talk about, why they don't want to leave, was emphasized when we arrived. Lt Col Fitzpatrick, defenders provide the first point of contact for personnel entering the base. The attitude of Airman Larson reflects the leadership presence you've created within the squadron. I was much impressed. Fellow commanders and airmen, fellow SF commanders, and all of the MSG, OG, MXG, and any other commanders out there I may have forgotten, and the airmen involved, I stand humbled in your presence. Kira and Sophie, thank you for this wild ride we've called an Air Force journey. We're finally going to be able to stay in some place for 2 years. We're excited about that. For those that don't know, we've moved the past 3 years every year, so it's been fun. Thomas Jefferson once said, "The most valuable of all talents is that of never using 2 words when one will do." With that, I will keep this very short. Defenders of the 5th Security Forces Squadron, I have not forgotten you. The professionalism I've witnessed between security patrols, law enforcement, and the gates epitomize the reputation you have earned. I will call upon this reputation and your dedication to our nation and our mission during these upcoming years. I look forward to working alongside you as we defend our nation's strategic resources. Together, we can increase our lethality and fortify our capabilities. I eagerly anticipate building upon the legacy of security, dependability, and respectability of the 5th Security Forces Squadron with you. Let's get to work.
At this time, Captain David Green, Operations Officer of the 5th Security Forces Squadron, would like to welcome Lt Col Hart by rendering him a first salute. In keeping with Air Force tradition, we conclude today's ceremony with the playing of the Air Force song. While it is customary for the Air Force members to stand at the position of attention, we invite all guests to join us in standing for the Air Force song and remain standing for the departure of the official party, special, and distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Thank you for attending, and join us in welcoming Lt Col John Hart and his family to Team Minot. Thank you.